Hi everyone, so today's look is a more literal interpretation of Disney's Sleeping Beauty, so I hope you enjoy it and thanks for watching. So I've already taken Too Faced Shadow Insurance from the lid up to the brow bone. Now I'm going to be taking Arbonne Makeup Primer, and this is a really nice primer, so I'm going to be grabbing this. This is from an all-vegan company. I'll have the link or her email address and her discount code in the bottom bar if you'd like to check it out. You just need about a pea-sized amount, and I'm taking the Pirouette brush in number 5. I'm going to place that over the more redder areas of my cheek and a little down the nose, just so that this glides a little easier in the center of the forehead, just so my foundation will be a little bit more opaque and doll-like, which is just perfect for a Disney character. So now that that's on, we're going to be taking the Urban Decay Book of Shadows 4. I recently saw this for about half off on Outlook, whatever you want to call it, Hot Look. And hopefully you guys got the chance to pick it up because it's actually one of my favorite Book of Shadows. Aside from its beautifulness, which yeah, that's always like fun to see what new design they come out with the Book of Shadows, but it's not very utilitarian. It's always the colors that I go for. The reason why this is one of my favorites is because it has gadgets, which make it a little bit more worthy of its price tag, and the colors are great. So to get started with the colors, we're just going to be working with some nudes, so that's pretty much all you really need are some nudes. It's a very soft, sweet pinup-y look, so I'm going to zoom you in and we'll get started on the look. Alright, so to get started on the look, I'm going to take this Pirouette brush. This is the number 6. It's an extremely large, fluffy brush. If you have a lot of lid space or you want just a quick wash of color, this is a great brush. So I'm going to be going in with Skimp, which is just this light peachy shadow right there. And it's kind of like a satin finish peachy shadow. I know some other palettes have Skimp in it. I think the Mariposa palette right now has Skimp in it as well. So if you want a slightly more smaller palette to fit in your case, you could always do that. But you could always depot these shadows too. I've seen people do it many times. Not like I haven't sit there and watched them do it. I see depotted shadows on YouTube all the time. There's plenty of videos on how to depot your shadows if you hate this book. There you go. If you want to work with this a little bit easier, you could just pop the lid off while you work with it, and it's literally just a handy dandy piece of cardboard. So finish working that over the lid. Okay, so now for the crease, we're going to be going in with Missionary, which I don't believe is in the Mariposa palette, but Missionary just looks like this, just a soft medium brown. So you don't really need this palette. If you have it, then you can follow along. It's just a soft taupey crease color. It's a little softer than MAC Satin Taupe, but if you have MAC Satin Taupe, you can work that in as well. I'm taking that same brush and working it in the crease and just contouring that lightly. I'm going to opt for a smaller brush, and I'm going to be taking the Pirouette number 13, and we're going in with a little bit of Bust, which is just this slightly darker taupey color up here. This is definitely a lot more like MAC's Satin Taupe. So I'm just going to be taking my brush into that shade and working it into the deep socket. I'm just going to take a little bit more of Bust. I'm going to work that into a C shape just to give the eye a little bit more of a rounded flare. And really keep Bust a little bit darker. If you have Naked 2, you could also replicate this look. It'll just look a tad different because the colors in the Book of Shadows 4 aren't the same as Naked 2. If you could find this on Outlook when they I think that they'll probably re-show it again. It's a little cheaper than Naked too, plus you have some colors. So I'm just going to work a little bit of Missionary back over the top of that to blend it out a little bit. If this is on sale, I guess the next book of shadows is coming out. I have no idea. So I'm just gonna go to the other eye. Now this step is optional, but because she has so much lid space, we're gonna go in and try to create the illusion that I have even more lid space than I do, and this will work as a great technique for anyone else who might have, I guess, smaller lid space, but nonetheless you can recreate any look you want depending on your eye shape. You just have to change things out a little bit. So I'm just going to pop on a little bit of Zephyr, and it's just a lighter white color, and I'm going to pop this in the arch of the brow bone. That's going to raise it up just ever so slightly. I just have a very high arch. I don't know that I have a ton of lid space, just a very high arch. And that'll make it even appear higher. And I'm going to pop a little bit of that in the inner tear duct to really open up the eye. You can even pop this in the center of the lid. It's up to you, or you could try to do this with a matte white since the look is not super shiny. I'm going with these slightly softer, somewhat satin colors because they're going to keep the lids very kind of open and youthful. Now I'm going to take a little bit of Stila's Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner in Carbon Black, and I'm going to line the upper lash line. This is getting a little easier to use now that I'm used to it again. I'm just going to line the upper lash line. I think it's nicer for you. You can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better. So I'm just going to try to curve my hand. And then I brought that out a little far, so I'm just going to do a really, really small wing, nothing extreme, just giving the lash a little bit of flare. Kind of an old trick to create longer or more accentuated lashes is, of course, a tail. Since her eyes are a bit on the almond side in the cartoon, but in all the promos they look very kind of, maybe somewhat almond, but they look very round and stuff when she's asleep. So her eyes are definitely almond now that I have found the images, but her face is much longer than mine is. She's actually very similar to Cinderella in appearance. The makeup and hair is a bit different though. But I'm going to be taking Yeyo from Urban Decay, which is this white, and popping it on the waterline. I don't love the frost in this, but I actually like that it's not such an opaque white because, ooh, I hate opaque whites on my waterline. I don't know what my deal is, but they really are disturbing on me. So I'm going to be taking Baked now. This is another Urban Decay liner. You could take any white or gold. I know it can get pricey taking a million different liners. Whenever you can get an Urban Decay like stash or set or whatever that has those pencils in them, I'd get them because they're definitely worth the asking price. Although I think the pencils are also worth the asking price because you never really go through them very fast. So you can go ahead and set those eyeshadows. You can take whatever you like. I'm going to take Baked, which is this gold up here. Hopefully I'm in frame. Baked, yeah. And I'm going to be taking it up on this Pirouette number 14 brush, which I've also used to fill in my eyebrows, in case you were wondering. Well, you probably don't care about my eyebrows, but if you do, you also have a tutorial on those. I'm also going to pop that on the lower lash line. So I'm going to be taking Mr. Wink's Flash Lashes. These are from JeromeRussell.com, and I'll have a link in the bottom bar. And these are from their Wild Party Lash line, and these are called Flash Lash Dazzle. These are only $3.49. It's a pretty decent deal. These are very similar to the Kiss number 5 lashes that you can get at drugstores. The major difference between those and these would be the very slight little flicks of glitter in them. I'm using this light glitter just to sort of represent the fact that she was living with fairies for most of her life, and So yeah, once again, this is a more literal interpretation, and I know these lashes are a little bit more on the inspired side, so you don't have to take these, but they won't really change much of the look in the end. They're very light, glittery lashes. So now I'm just taking the Pirouette number 5, and I'm putting on Arbonne's Perfecting Liquid Foundation, and this is in Porcelain. It runs a little on the yellow side. So just, that's not knocking it, I'm very yellow. Of course, this color is ideal for me, so it runs a little on the medium side. So if you are a true porcelain, I would not get this because I'm a medium tan. But if you are a medium tan with a yellow undertone, porcelain's good. So I'm just buffing that on. It's very matte, but it has some give, like it glides really, really beautifully. I'm gonna have this Arbonne's representative's email address, and there'll be a discount code in the bottom bar. So just email her with the discount code so she knows who you are. Feel free to mention me. I'm just gonna buff that on. And now I'm gonna be adding the Arbonne Sheer Glow highlighter, and it looks just like a pink liquid. So I'm just gonna be taking a little bit of this. Yes, it's like a pink version of MAC's Strobe Liquid. Very nice. Actually, I really love Strobe Liquid. This looks like a great product. So I'm just gonna be placing this right about here. Somebody gave me a request to do a tutorial using some form of a Strobe Liquid type product. This would be pretty much right about what you're looking for. You could use it underneath your makeup as sort of like a luminous primer, or you could use it on top to create a glow. It's a very multi-use product. I used to use Strobe Liquid, and then I'm just going to pat that on the forehead too and get this like all over glow. Kind of a fun, youthful gleam. Better for your skin than Vaseline. Blush was a hard decision. I honestly don't think I have a rosy toned cruelty-free blush. So what I'm going to be doing is taking Pirouette's number 4, which is a good blush brush. It's a dupe of the MAC 116 kind of. And I'm going to be taking the Tarte Flush. It's just kind of a mauvey, really intense purple. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of that in the center of the cheek and then blending it back. I think everyone needs a mauvey blush. I think I'm the only weirdo that doesn't have one. Just a little bit of that so it looks more mauve than anything else. I'm taking Urban Decay's 24/7 lip liner in Envious, line lips, and fill them in. Now for lips that shame the red, red rose, I've taken OCC Lip Tars in Not Safe for Work and Pageant, and it does take some time to apply, but I just take an angled brush. I mix those two colors together. I'm just gonna wipe it off with makeup remover, it'll come right off. It does appear a little bit more pink than I guess you would say red, red rose would appear. So it's up to you what you want to do. Pageant's just very much a fuchsia pink. And I'm going to take a little bit more Not Safe for Work, which is the red, the classic red. And put it on the outer part of the lip and push it toward the pink. Now once these dry down to a satin finish, and they will, especially if you push it down with the angled brush, kind of paint your lips basically. You can always blot. So once again, paint your lips to get them to really be matte, because if they're goopy, it's going to get all over your teeth and it won't last. So now I'm going to be taking the Urban Decay Super Saturated High Gloss Lip Color, and this is in Crush. Just gonna color through the centers to add some moisture back into my lips, because those OCC lip tars, once they're flat and they're dry, they're very matte, and that can be very harsh on your lips. So I hope that you enjoyed this makeup tutorial, and thanks so much for watching.